Talented, yet overlooked. Gifted, but then forgotten. These are the stories of the unsung heroes of Maori music.
Welcome to the 40th JCO Country Music Awards of Australia.
And Camille to Nahu, what a beautiful singer, my goodness me.
She's able to hug the melody with the harmony. I've never heard anybody do it the way she does it.
She gives it this feeling and this heart and this soul that just takes it to a whole other level, which is the true art of a great singer, and that's Camille.
Although not a household name in Aotearoa, singer-songwriter Camille Nahu has reached the top of Australia's country music industry. Her roots go back to Mahia, where music and whānau blend like the breathtaking sunrise over their sacred sea, Wana Nui a Kiwa. This is the place the Te Nahu whānau call home.
Ngā mihi ki ngā wāhi tapu, o tō tātou mātua tupuna, o ronga mai wahine ki te Mahia, i te haukainga nei o te wai o hotu. Nā, ki tēnā taha, te maunga tairea, ki tērā taha, ko maunga kāhia, haere atu ki te moana, ki ngā toka tapu o painga, huri mai, ki tō tātou marae ko tuahuru, ka tuake nei tātou ngā te nahu o ngā itu. Ko karanema te tupuna matua, ko keita te tupuna whaia. Ka whānau mai a Hawaii ki rangi, ka moe ia ki a Joylene, ka whānau mai a Richard, ka moe ia a Pele, ka whānau mai nei a Camille.
Ka hoki ana ngā mahara o Camille ki tāna tūpuranga, ko te whenua taurikura nei i te tai rāpiti, te whakamaunga atu o aua mahara.
We used to spend most weekends at Mahia, a little beach town, and that was where my father was brought up by his grandparents. And we used to go there every weekend from when I was born until I was about 6. While my father was helping the family do the jobs around the house, I just remember it was a time of hanging out with my cousins and hanging out at the beach and lots of music. And I have an early memory of singing Toia, a Maori action song with my cousins, and that was one of many, but that was one that we used to sing to all of our family.
At primary school they had a test on music, which she wasn't really into music much then, but she got 100% in it for pitch.
Aha koa ana pukinga waiata he tamahine takapita mātana whaia I aia e tupu ana.
Camille was the sort of daughter that always wanted to be involved in anything. She had a real sporting ability.
I did swimming, I did ballet, I did gymnastics, I did trampolining, tap dancing, you name it, I did it. My mother took me everywhere.
I didn't really think that she was going to end up doing music.
I was representing New Zealand in trampolining, but it got to a point where I had to decide what I wanted to do, and I chose music.
I ruku ia ki te wai hohunu ki te ahoi ngā āhuatanga o te ao puoro, te whakangahau me te waiata.
I used to take Camille to rehearsals with me. She'd just sit there and listen to the songs. When we got home, she just knew them all off by heart. I would get the hairbrush, give it to her, and let her practice for her mic control.
I used to be a huge fan of Suzanne Prentice. I can remember my mum and we used to stand in front of the mirror with our hairbrushes.
And then I'd put How Great Thou Art by Suzanne Prentice on, and we'd have a competition to see who could hold their breath the longest.
Could we hold it as long as Suzanne? No. But we'd have a go.
And I always beat her.
I roto I tētahi rō pupuoro, ka kitea te ngākau nui o Camille ki e nei mahi, ka tino eke ia ki te taumata o ngā mahi Pukangahu.
My uncle Andy and my cousin Kelly to Nahu, they were both involved in the local country music club.
He kaipakangahu te paia, ingari nā te pāpā i ngana, ki te pakuru i tā rawa te māhine pakaturi, ki roto i te rōpu pūro. Au ware ake.
He took me along to the local country music club on the promise that I would not get up and sing. So he stood at the back of the room, you know, staunch, and just watched while I sat next to him, and I'm not quite sure how I did it, but before I knew it, my name was up on the board and I was singing.
When I first saw her come in, I was surprised, but nicely surprised.
Ka kitea o na pūmana me tona pitomata. Nōna ka tū ki te waiata i runga i te pauaka pakata, i te taho tēte kai waiata rongonui.
There was a TV show on, the Eddie Lowe special, and I was invited up to Auckland to be his special guest, and that was a really big deal for me. A real privilege to sing with Eddie Lowe, you know. Somewhere between, a Merle Haggard song. I'd never heard it, and I remember they gave me the lyrics this day and said, we're going to do this song tonight, and I think I even bumbled up the words, but I managed to somehow get through it, you know.
There's a wall so high, it reaches the sky. Somewhere between me and you.
So that was it. I pulled her out of everything else and she concentrated on her music.
I te kōringa o ngā pakakoti te tama, I arotahi a Camille ki ana mahi Pukangahu, waiata hoki. I te kōtiro ki ana mahi me te tautoko a ona mātua. He tautoko a Hinengaro, a Wairua, a Tinana anō hoki.
My mum and dad took me all around New Zealand, entering in talent quests.
I te tautoko a tana whānau, ka eke a Camille ki te taumata I ana tū ki te Pukangahu. Ko te otinga atu, ko te huhua o ngā tohu toa.
Our next contestant not only has perfect pitch, she has grace, charm, and a creamy contralto voice. Let's listen. From Gisborne, singing What Do They Know? Please welcome Camille Te Nahu.
Someone will come along.
She did Stars in Your Eyes and those sort of shows. She absolutely loved it. She just seemed to have some sort of drive. She wanted to do music, wanted to go, she wanted to sing, and she won nearly everything that she actually went into.
If you won like certain awards, it meant that you got to go to the Entertainer of the Year, and that was like the best of the best, you know.
I toa a Camille I roto I te whakataitai āmatu, e tohu ana I te kaiwai te tai o hio te tau, I Aotearoa.
I actually entered in a competition called Star Maker. And that's sort of the platform for amateur artists who want to become professionals. In the top 20 get to perform at Tamworth. Well, I got selected. I made it through to the top 10, and it was in Tamworth that a judge actually offered me a job. He said, you know, come over, you can play music and you'll have a job. And that was just what I needed to hear, really.
Ko Tamworth te manawa o te puoro kaupoi o Australasia. Ko tōna rite, ko Nashville, Tennessee.
Like nothing I'd ever experienced before. There was music everywhere. Country music. I was seeing all these people, you know, my age, and lots of them that were just loving country music. I went back home and I said to my mum and dad, I'm actually going to move to Australia, you know, and they all had bets on how long I'd last. I tried leaving home once before and, you know, lasted a couple of weeks and I was back home again, back to Gisborne.
Koe nei te huarahi whakamaua atu ai e Camille. Hei huarahi whaimahi I te whānuitanga o te ao puoro kaupoi I ahi toreri. Ka tūwhara mai te huarahi ki te whakangahau haere I ngā hui whaihua o te ao puoro kaupoi. Ka roku atu ia ki roto I ngā mahi nei me tōna katoa.
When I moved over, the company went into liquidation 6 weeks after. So my big move, suddenly became a bit of a shambles and I didn't know what to do.
Ahakoa tingere, kaore I maruhirohi te ngākau.
I was also friends with the Chambers family, Casey Chambers, and I made contact with them and straight away they took me under their wing.
Nā te whānau Chambers a Camille I poipoi I taunaki.
I went out on the road with her family for a couple of years, selling merchandise. A few tours I opened the show for her. It was a great way for me to learn the ropes.
She's all the way from New Zealand. This is Camille to Nahu, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be the captain, and I'll be no one. And you can carry me away if you want to.
I poi hākena, ka kapo hia e Camille ngā taringa o tētehi o ngā tuki whakatangi rakuraku o te ao puoro o Stewie French.
I saw her there and I thought, geez, she's a nice looking girl. And she got up and sang.
So now there's somebody new.
Our jaws were on the ground because I'd never heard a voice like it.
These dreams I've been dreaming.
She sang soft but it filled the room, and I couldn't believe her voice.
I haerere ngā tahi a rāua ko Casey ki te whakangahau tahi. Engari nā tōna reo waiata ahure I kapo atu ngā taringa o te hunga mā takitaki.
I got a call one day to be the backing singer for Troy Cassar-Daley. Troy's one of my favourite singers here in Australia, so it was a real thrill to be asked to be part of his show. I went to the airport to catch the flight with all the boys, and there was this Australian man that caught my eye. Turns out he was the lead guitarist in the band.
And I was single and didn't know, but Cam was single and saw each other at the airport.
He was actually doing his last gig with Troy after being Troy's guitarist for about 8 or 9 years. It was Stewie's very last show with Troy and my first show.
Next thing you know, we sort of going out on dates.
I invited him to a Keb Mo gig to be my date, and we've been inseparable ever since.
When those two guys finally became a couple, it was like this perfect thing. He always was this beautiful guy, terrific bloke. I've been on tour with him in remote Australian towns where I've walked down the street to get a hamburger for lunch and I've seen Stewie on the sidewalk busking, not because he wanted the money, just because he wanted to play. Of course, we all know he's one of the world's great guitar players.
I always wanted to be a guitar player. I grew up listening to country music, got into jazz, I got into rockabilly, rock and roll. But if you ask me anything, I'm a country guitar player.
Nā te wā I whakatau, kia piritahi tētahi tokorua no tua whenua ki te tito waiata. Nā waira ka piri heiho aroha.
We both got the call to be in Becky's band. It was the first time that we actually got to work together.
Let the waitress sing. Let that golden voice be heard. Let 10,000 more of me sit there and hang on every word.
Well, it's been a number of years now since I came across Camille, but I'll never forget that voice. The first time I ever saw her, she was on stage singing, and just this beautiful voice.
We spent a few years with Becky and just travelling. It was just like a honeymoon every night.
Over and over, a breath. practice every day.
Getting to play music around Australia, you know, and be with your partner. Life couldn't get much better.
See my tears get in the way.
I think I can lay claim to the fact that Stewie and Camille started getting love eyes for each other on my tour.
I'll be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. I'll be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me.
I started getting calls to sing on sessions for people. Rod McCormack called me up one day and asked me to sing on his wife's single. His wife is Gina Jeffries. In Gisborne, I used to have Gina Jeffries' albums, and I couldn't believe I was getting a call to sing on one of her songs. And I can tell you, I was just freaking out.
Ka tū ngātahi ia me e tehi kai whakangahu rongonui o te ao.
Leo, say it. I'm in a spin, you know, shaking all spring, you know. You make me feel like dancing. I wanna dance the night away. You make me feel like dancing. I wanna dance the night away.
So Camille came to the studio. We got on like an absolute house on fire. You know, we're telling jokes within 2 minutes. We're just having a laugh. And then we started to sing together, and we spent about 3 days singing, and we just had the greatest time. It's a voice of total purity. She doesn't try to sound like anybody, not even herself. She's selfless and humble. You know, that's a rare thing in a singer.
Kua u te rongonui o Camille hei kaiwea te kairangi. Mai I te whakarewatanga o tana kōpai tuatahi I te tau 2012. E wha atu anō ngā kōpai, kua waihanga te era o ko Stewie.
The most recent thing that I heard Cam and Stewie do together, recording-wise, was their most personal work. And I think they're best too for it, because it really connects. You hear these songs that you just know are real and personal to them, and it connects with everybody. And I think that if they continue that, then the sky's the limit for those guys.
Kua tutuki ia Camille tana whainga kia maro tana haere I te ao pūro. Engari he whainga nui atu anō hei whakatutuki. Mai I tana hunukutanga I tūranga ki Ahitorere, te kaumārua tau ki muri, kua angitua Camille te Nahu I te ao pūro.
It's been an interesting journey. Everything just always seems to work out. I've learned to just chill out and not stress about it too much, because things always fall into place. I'm lucky my husband is a record producer, so he produces a lot of albums for people, and we're able to work from home. You know, we don't have these 9-to-5 jobs where we have to leave, so it all seems to be able to work in really well with our young family.
He mahi ua te whakatupu tamariki, me te tū I te ao ngaio hei kai whakangaho.
When we travel, the deal is the kids come, you know, and if it can't happen like that, then we fly my mum out from New Zealand, and Nana comes to the rescue, or the family from Tassie. Everyone, they all put their hand up to help.
She's just so open to family, you know, whoever's family. And so obviously when we had children, it took over our lives, and it's such a beautiful thing. And that's her priority.
He mea whakaawe rāua e a rāua tamariki, kia hoki ki roto I te taiwhanga hopuoro ki te waihanga kōpai ho.
I've had to keep on to and say, come on, we've got to write some songs, music, you know, that's what you're good at.
When we started writing for this album, I just said, Stewie, we've just got to write about stuff that we know. And obviously that, our life has been consumed with whānau, with our children, and our marriage over the last 6 years. So it was obvious that's what this album had to be about.
Camille and Stewie decided that they wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, all in the same room. That's the way they used to do it all the time.
We went to a studio, hired the best engineer, best studio, big room, all set up.
And we went in with a beautiful team, a great team of musicians, like really top notch.
I was sitting here 10 years ago, lost on a dark crossroad. Things change.
Things Change was a song that I guess Stuart and I could both relate to. For us, we were both single at that time, and we didn't know what direction our life, was going to take.
1, 2, 3, start making memories.
I think about, I've been in Australia now for 13 years. I remember in the space of 2 years I lost my father and I lost my 2 grandmothers, but I also gave birth to our baby girl. So, it was just that reminder to make the most of every day, because, you just don't know what's around the corner.
Like a tree, he was so tall and strong. Then one day he was gone. Things changed.
My name is Michelle Rose, and I was born in Mauritius.
He's no doubt Australia's #1 pedal steel guitar player, and he's taught me more than I could ever imagine about music.
I do what I do. Sometimes I just keep an eye out for tuning and stuff, I'm very finicky, When everything's going your way, that's when magic happens. In some takes, we just like first take. There was one song we went, that's it. That's it. That was just bang, we couldn't believe it.
We had the best 3 days, just sat around and recorded our own songs. It was beautiful.
Kua roa rawa e whakapokahana ki angi tu I te ao puro. I naene e putana ngā hua o tēnā mahi. I a rātu ka huri a mio I te ao.
Through a mutual friend, we were lucky enough to get to meet Les Paul. He invited Stu and I backstage to say hello, and took a packet of Tim Tams and an album, and did the meet and greet, and he said to Stewie, well, you're going to get that thing and plug it in, and he invited us up on stage, and we got to perform a song with him, and that would be probably one of the best moments we've experienced so far.
Ko tā rāua kōpai tuawha e kia nei ko Big Day's Little Years e whakata ana I o rāua whakaro nui ki te whānau.
The first song we ever wrote, we sat down, the kids are at daycare, and we thought we got a day, let's write a song. And luckily, I'd been dumping a lot of old videos and things that I'd filmed during the 80s onto DVD to save them. And through that, Cam saw a lot of my mum.
I saw you on the TV screen, there with your family. The years have slipped away.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet her, but through watching all of this footage of her, I feel like I know her.
And she said, why don't we write a song about your mum? Because she never got to meet her. She passed away in 1998, so 4 years before we got together. And so out of those old films, we compiled a song that day, and it's been our most favourite song.
And I guess the common thread that her and I have being the love of our children.
We demoed it, came down here and just whacked it down real quick, and we played a little house concert that week. And in amongst all our covers and songs we did, we just threw that song, thought we'll just throw it in, we won't announce it. And I couldn't believe the reaction. Out of all the songs we played that night, I looked and there was tears, People just got it, and I'm thinking, we wrote that song. Gee, it's getting to people just the way it got to us, So we thought straight away, that's cool. You write your own material and other people get it,
I feel like I know you. I wish I could show you our little boys.
Just song by song, they all came about, and they're just all stories about our lives over the last 6 years, about losing loved ones. the joys of marriage and learning, you know, all the little quirky habits that we all have, and, you know.
Koe eke a Camille ki ngā taumata o Angitu, hei kura mo tana whānau, me tana iwi.
One of the things that I love about her is that a lot that I know about New Zealand culture I've learnt from Camille, and she's kept that culture within her and she's brought it to us. She's become such a great ambassador in that sense, I think.
She has learnt this sort of deep respect for this entire music thing as well, and she brings this whole other culture with her, and I think that there's this mesh of all those things going on. If you keep doing that and you keep sort of rubbing those things together, something new and something great's going to come from that, and I think that's where we're at right now.
I just feel if I can play music with my husband, that's the ultimate for me, really. You know, if my mum's still happy to come and help, and Stewie's family, you know, we'll just keep rolling with that. We'll keep recording albums, just doing what we do.
The star is well on the rise and will continue to do so. And with the new music that she's made, I think it can only get better.
They say you make your own way in this new world of sound. My head goes back to a little shack on